Some reunions are not just moments, they are earthquakes in the heart. After years of longing, unanswered questions, and silent heartbreak, one man returns to Heartland, shaking every corner of the ranch, every memory, every heartbeat. Borden is back. And the first person to feel the full weight of this return is Amy. What follows is not just a reunion, it's a raw, emotional storm that will leave the Heartland family, and viewers like you, breathless, in tears, and holding on to hope that some love stories never truly end. The episode opens with a quiet, almost haunting calm across Heartland. The camera lingers on familiar paths, the barn bathed in soft morning light, and the field stretching into the horizon. It feels ordinary, but there's an underlying tension that fans can almost sense, a stillness that isn't peace, but anticipation. Amy is seen in the barn, tending to a troubled horse whose anxiety mirrors her own. Her movements are careful, precise, but her mind drifts elsewhere. Every time the horse flinches, it pulls a sigh from her, a silent reflection of years of waiting, of holding herself together while a part of her heart remained elsewhere. Her voiceover whispers memories of the past, memories that have always carried the name of Ty. The audience feels it immediately, something is about to shift. The ranch, normally bustling with life, carries a subtle heaviness. Lindy asks quiet questions about her father, questions Amy answers with careful words that hide more than they reveal. Georgie, absorbed in her riding practice, senses the change, a tension she cannot name, a quiet disturbance in the rhythm of the ranch. Even Jack, sitting at the edge of the barn, gazes at Ty's old tools with a mix of nostalgia and quiet apprehension. There's a pause in every step, a wait in every glance. Lou, who usually provides levity and strength, feels it too. Her conversations carry double meanings, her smiles, though warm, hint at guarded hope and anxiety. The episode does not rush. Instead, it lets the air thicken, the anticipation grow. Every small moment, the horse's snort, a door creaking, a glance across the yard, is a signal that the long-awaited return is imminent. When Ty's name is first whispered, almost as a rumor among the ranch hands, it hangs in the air. It's not just a name, it's a presence felt, an echo of absence that has defined the family for years. Amy freezes mid-task, her hands tightening on the reins. Memories flood her mind, not just of love, but of survival, of learning to breathe without him, of nights spent staring at empty spaces where he once stood. Every emotion she buried threatens to surface at once, hope, fear, longing, heartbreak. And when Ty finally steps into view, the moment is not cinematic with fanfare or dramatic music. It is quiet, grounded, and utterly devastating in its simplicity. Amy's reaction is complex, layered, and heartbreakingly real. She does not run. She does not scream. Her body stiffens, her breath catches, and for the first time in years, she allows herself to feel the full weight of absence meeting presence. Her eyes fill with tears before her lips part, and a single whisper escapes, Ty. The word carries decades of pain, love, and the fragile hope she barely allowed herself to nurture. The camera holds on her, on every subtle twitch of her features, on the way her hands tremble as if she fears that reality is fragile and might shatter if she reaches for him too quickly. Ty's own return is measured, almost reverent. Every step he takes across the barn is deliberate. His eyes, scanning familiar faces, finally meet Amy's. For a moment, time slows. There is no dialogue, only the weight of history pressing into the present. He sees the years etched on her face, the invisible burden she carried, and the love that never wavered. Ty kneels briefly, touching the horse's head as if to ground himself before taking the next step toward the woman who has been his anchor even in absence. The children, especially Lindy, feel the tremors of this moment differently. She is old enough to remember stories, young enough to embrace him without pretense or judgment. Her curiosity and innocence clash with a child's cautious hope, creating a tender tension that perfectly mirrors the episode's emotional landscape. Lou watches, protective yet silently relieved, knowing that Amy's walls are being tested, and that years of holding back tears and emotions are about to come flooding out. Even Jack and Tim, typically stoic in the face of emotion, reveal their inner landscapes without a word. Jack's eyes glisten as he studies Ty, recalling the boy who once struggled with life's weight and the man who now carries himself with quiet strength. Tim's first reaction is restraint, a mask of sarcasm hiding the tremor in his voice, a single flicker of a tear that he immediately wipes away. These subtle performances of emotion set the stage for the episode's core. Ty's return is more than a reunion. It is an emotional reckoning for every character, a challenge to the hearts they thought had healed, and a reminder that some absences never fully leave the soul. Amy's first moments with Ty are quiet but heavy with meaning. She cannot speak, cannot move, only stand frozen, as if the world around her has narrowed to the space between them. Every heartbeat is amplified, every breath drawn with careful hesitation. The ranch, usually alive with the sounds of life, seems to pause to witness this reunion. Ty steps closer, his eyes soft, scanning Amy's face with a mixture of relief, love, and unspoken apology. The weight of years apart presses down, but it is tempered by the raw honesty of this first encounter. Amy reaches out slowly, as if testing reality, and their hands touch. The contact is gentle, almost fragile, but it carries the power of everything they've endured separately and everything they have waited to feel together again. Lindy, unable to hide her excitement and curiosity, watches intently. She has grown up with only stories, memories captured in photographs, and the quiet longing that Amy tried to explain. Now, the man she has imagined her entire life stands before her, real and alive. Her small frame hesitates, unsure how to bridge the gap between myth and reality. Then, in a burst of instinctual love, she runs into his arms. The moment is innocent yet seismic, filled with the pure, unfiltered joy of a child meeting the parent she has longed for. Ty embraces her gently, overwhelmed himself by how much she has grown, how brave and capable she is, and how the years apart cannot erase the bond they share. The reunion becomes a lesson in unconditional love, the kind only a parent and child can feel, and it subtly reminds viewers of the deep roots of family that Heartland has always celebrated. Meanwhile, Lou's reaction captures the emotional complexity of the family. She has been a protector, an anchor, and an observer, always watching Amy's struggles from a supportive distance. Seeing Ty again triggers a swirl of emotions, relief, cautious hope, and a recognition of the vulnerability Amy has endured. Lou does not rush forward. Instead, she studies the moment, her face a careful mask of experience and empathy. When she finally steps closer, the hug she gives Ty is filled with warmth but tempered by years of observation, years of knowing how much Amy has suffered. Lou's interaction reminds the audience that love within families is never simple, it carries layers of protection, understanding, and careful timing, making the reunion feel real, believable, and emotionally profound. Jack Bartlett's reaction is understated but monumental. For decades, he has carried a quiet, steadfast love for Ty, blending mentorship, fatherly guidance, and personal pride. The first moment he sees Ty is enough to crack his composed exterior. His eyes glisten, his jaw tightens, and for once, Jack is not the calm, immovable pillar of Heartland. The camera captures every micro-expression, the subtle trembling of his hands, the way he studies Ty with a lifetime of memories flashing behind his eyes, the almost imperceptible sigh that seems to release decades of restrained emotion. Jack's steps toward Ty are measured, deliberate, as if he must prove that he can handle the wave of feelings ready to crash over him. When Jack finally speaks, his voice cracks on a single, simple line, "You're home, son." It is not just words, it is validation, relief, forgiveness, and a heartfelt acknowledgement that their bond has survived absence and hardship. The embrace that follows is long, deliberate, and full of a quiet intensity, a masculine vulnerability rarely shown, that reminds viewers that even the strongest hearts carry fragile, unspoken depths. Tim Fleming's response, in contrast, is wrapped in restraint and complexity. He is not someone who wears his heart on his sleeve, and years of skepticism toward Ty's worthiness of Amy and Lindy have hardened him. At first, his reaction is sarcastic, almost defensive, "So, you're back, ho." But the audience can see past the words, the slight tremor in his tone, the barely held back emotion, the single tear he quickly wipes away. Tim's tough exterior begins to crack as he takes in the reality that Ty has returned not just alive, but as the man he has become. His eventual embrace is hesitant but genuine, showing that love, respect, and care sometimes hide behind walls of sarcasm and toughness. Tim's layered response adds depth to the reunion, demonstrating that emotional honesty can come in subtle, unconventional forms. George's encounter with Ty brings a different, yet equally powerful, emotional resonance. For years, she has idolized him as a mentor and guide, someone who believed in her potential when others doubted. Ty's absence left a quiet ache in her heart, a sense of incomplete closure. When Georgie returns to Heartland and sees him again, she stops in her tracks, a mix of shock and wonder crossing her face. Her tears form almost immediately, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming gratitude of reconnecting with someone who shaped her in profound ways. The hug that follows is long, heartfelt, and layered with meaning, pride, love, and an acknowledgement of the past. Her words, "I wouldn't be who I am without you," strike at the emotional core of the episode, highlighting the enduring influence of mentorship and reminding viewers that family and guidance extend beyond traditional roles. The episode carefully balances each character's emotional arc with subtle storytelling. It does not rush the reunions, instead, it allows the weight of years to settle naturally. Every glance, every hesitation, every slow step forward reinforces the suspense, the anticipation, and the emotional intensity that fans have waited for. Heartland's writers create a delicate choreography, moving between different reactions and perspectives while keeping Ty and Amy's story at the center. The audience feels every heartbeat, every tear, every unspoken word, as if they too are standing in the barn, witnessing history in the making. Even small gestures carry enormous weight. Ty's hand brushing against Amy's, the way he kneels to meet Lindy's eyes, the careful steps toward Jack, Lou, Tim, and Georgie, all of these moments are slow-building emotional payoffs. The episode uses silence as much as dialogue, allowing viewers to feel the tension and release in real time. It reminds the audience that in Heartland, love and family are not defined by dramatic proclamations or sudden declarations, but by the steady, patient return of someone who has always mattered, someone whose absence has been deeply felt. By the end of this section, the ranch is filled with quiet, lingering emotion. Ty's presence has shifted the air, the dynamics, the very heartbeat of Heartland. Every character carries a personal response, a blend of joy, relief, unresolved tension, and cautious hope. The episode does not resolve everything immediately, which keeps the audience on edge. It prepares viewers for the deeper, private moments between Ty and Amy, the conversations that will finally confront years of separation, love, pain, and forgiveness. The suspense is not built on action or conflict, but on emotion, anticipation, and the slow unfolding of hearts long apart coming together once again. After the initial reunions, the episode slows to focus on the most anticipated and intimate part of Ty and Amy's story, the private moments that have been waiting years to be told. The loft, frozen in time, becomes a sacred space where their history, their love, and their unspoken pain converge. The light filters softly through the windows, dust particles dancing like memories in the quiet room. Amy sits at the edge of the bed, hands trembling, trying to ground herself in a reality that feels almost too fragile to hold. Ty stands nearby, close enough to touch, yet giving her the space she needs, his eyes reflecting the deep weight of every day he spent away, every moment he thought of her, and every memory of Lindy he carried with him. The silence between them is heavy, almost unbearable, but it speaks volumes. Words are unnecessary at first, their glances, the way Amy's shoulders tense and Ty's jaw tightens, say more than dialogue ever could. Amy's voice finally breaks through, fragile but loaded with years of longing. "Why did you leave me?" The question is not accusatory, but it carries the heartbreak of every day she survived without him, every tear she hid, every moment of pretending she was whole. Ty looks down, his eyes glistening, and begins to share the truth. He recounts where he had been, the dangers he faced, the choices that tore him away, and the nights he spent thinking about Amy and Lindy. Each word is heavy with honesty, every explanation a bridge spanning the distance of years. Amy listens, tears streaming silently down her face. Every sentence Ty utters brings relief, sorrow, and understanding in equal measure. For the first time, she hears the word she had been longing for, the explanation that allows her heart to begin mending. Ty reaches slowly for her hand, testing the fragile ground of trust and hope. Amy does not pull away, her fingers curling gently around his. That touch, soft and deliberate, carries more meaning than 1,000 declarations of love. It is a silent promise, a reassurance that what was lost is not gone forever, that healing is possible, and that their hearts can reconnect even after years apart. The conversation deepens into shared memories, laughter, and quiet apologies. Ty reminds Amy of moments only they remember, the way they worked together on the ranch, the little gestures that defined their love, the nights they spent dreaming about the future. Amy's expressions shift from pain to relief, from sorrow to tentative hope. She allows herself to smile through tears, to breathe fully, to feel the weight of absence lift just slightly. It is a careful, emotional choreography, a reminder that rebuilding trust and love after heartbreak is never instant, but it can be breathtakingly beautiful when done with care. Ty and Amy's reunion is not loud, flashy, or dramatic. It is soft, intimate, and healing. When he finally whispers, "I never stopped loving you." Not for 1 second, the words are not meant for spectacle, they are meant to mend the fractures time created. Amy collapses into his embrace, sobbing freely, letting years of bottled emotion spill out. Ty holds her tightly, whispering apologies and promises, not perfect, but real, grounded in honesty and patience. Their hearts, so long separated, begin to align again, and the audience feels every tremor of hope, every quiver of renewed trust, every heartbeat of rekindled love. Meanwhile, the rest of the family witnesses the quiet but monumental shifts happening between Ty and Amy. Lindy, sitting nearby, absorbs the moment with wide eyes and a heart full of understanding, realizing that love, even after long absence, can heal and endure. Lou observes quietly, her protective instinct softened by relief and joy, recognizing that Amy's pain is finally being met with presence, understanding, and care. Jack watches with subtle pride, seeing Ty as a man who has faced his trials and returned to the home and family that shaped him. Tim, standing at a respectful distance, shows a rare softness, a recognition that family, loyalty, and love are sometimes more complex than the boundaries he once set. The private moments between Ty and Amy gradually expand to conversations about the future, tempered by honesty and emotional realism. They do not pretend that everything is immediately fixed. Instead, they speak gently about rebuilding slowly, allowing viewers to feel the patience and care required to restore a relationship fractured by absence. The loft becomes a sanctuary for renewal, a space where love is tenderly repaired, where words carry weight, and where small gestures, a hand squeeze, a gentle touch, a quiet glance, convey volumes. Every frame, every sentence, and every pause is carefully crafted to make the audience feel as if they are witnessing history, witnessing love heal in real time. By the end of this section, the emotional storm reaches its quiet, intense peak. Ty and Amy's love, tested by years of separation, begins to bloom anew, filled with hope, understanding, and the promise of facing whatever comes next together. The episode emphasizes that true love is resilient, that family bonds can endure absence, and that even the deepest wounds can be soothed with honesty, presence, and patience. Heartland reminds its audience, through every glance, word, and gesture, that some love stories are eternal, that some connections can survive anything, and that the emotional heart of the ranch has been restored, one tender, tear-filled moment at a time. As the episode moves toward its closing, the atmosphere at Heartland is charged with a quiet, lingering emotional energy. Ty's presence has shifted everything, yet the story refuses to resolve instantly, honoring the complexity of human emotion. The ranch, once marked by absence and subtle melancholy, now feels alive with hope, warmth, and the heartbeat of a family reunited. Each character carries their own mixture of joy, relief, and tentative excitement about the future. The camera pans across the familiar spaces, the barn, the fields, the loft, and every frame is imbued with nostalgia, yet also a sense that life is beginning anew. Amy, having confronted her heartbreak and reclaimed a part of her life she had long thought lost, stands beside Ty, holding Lindy's hand. Her eyes, still glistening from tears, reflect both the depth of her love and the fragile optimism of what comes next. The two share quiet smiles, subtle touches, and long glances that speak volumes. Every pause between them reinforces the weight of their shared history, the pain endured, and the hope that has finally been realized. It is not dramatic in the traditional sense, it is intimate, real, and profoundly moving. The audience feels the tension dissolve, replaced with the satisfying, heartfelt resolution of a love story that has been tested by time, absence, and uncertainty. Lindy's innocence and joy bring light to the moment, balancing the emotional intensity with pure, unfiltered love. She runs freely between her parents, laughter spilling into the barn, yet her eyes occasionally seek reassurance, reflecting the child's need for security and continuity. Her hugs, her small questions, and the wonder in her expression remind viewers of the enduring bond between parent and child, a bond that remains unbroken despite years of absence. It is a subtle yet powerful demonstration of how family love persists, even through separation and hardship, and how children often become the emotional anchors in moments of intense reunion. The reactions of the extended family further underscore the profound impact of Ty's return. Lou, with her careful smile and measured movements, finally allows herself to release a sigh of relief, embracing Ty with warmth but never losing sight of the years of protection and care she provided Amy. Jack stands slightly apart, quietly observing, allowing the full weight of emotion to settle in his chest. His subtle nods, the slight tightening of his jaw, and the unspoken pride in his eyes reveal a man who has silently carried hope and love for decades. Tim, having carefully measured his own reactions throughout, now shows rare vulnerability. His embrace is firm but full of acknowledgement, his words soft but meaningful, a reminder that even the roughest hearts can learn to trust again, to soften, and to accept love in its many forms. Georgie's quiet reflection and gentle acknowledgement of Ty's guidance complete the family's emotional tapestry. She approaches him slowly, gratitude and reverence in every movement. Their shared history, now intersecting again after long absence, reinforces the theme of mentorship, influence, and the enduring power of guidance. Her words, her tears, and her embrace are a reminder that bonds of family extend beyond bloodlines. They are shaped by love, care, and the moments that leave lasting impressions. Ty's ability to reconnect with each character individually demonstrates the subtle, interwoven dynamics of Heartland storytelling, that the ripple effect of one return can touch every corner of a family, every heart, and every memory. The final moments between Ty and Amy anchor the emotional climax of the episode. They sit together in quiet contemplation, hands intertwined, exchanging soft words about the future. It is not a hurried resolution, instead, it is an acknowledgement that healing, forgiveness, and love are processes that require patience. Their eyes meet, and in that gaze is every emotion they have endured: pain, longing, hope, and unspoken promises. They lean into each other, sharing a gentle, soft kiss that is less about drama and more about restoration, closure, and the quiet triumph of a love that endures against all odds. As the episode fades to its conclusion, Heartland feels whole again. The ranch, the family, and the audience are left with a profound sense of completion. Ty's return has not only healed old wounds but has reignited hope, reaffirmed love, and restored the emotional heartbeat of a place that has always been about resilience, connection, and the unshakable bonds of family. Every tear shed, every hesitant step forward, and every quiet moment of acknowledgement reminds viewers that some love stories are timeless, some families are unbreakable, and that the heart of Heartland beats strongest when love, understanding, and patience guide every interaction. By the end, the audience is left with lingering emotion, reflecting on the power of reunions, the complexity of relationships, and the enduring hope that even after years apart, home is not just a place, it is the people who wait, who care, and who love without condition. Heartland Season 20, Episode 1 closes not with fanfare, but with the quiet assurance that love has returned, family has healed, and the story is far from over, inviting viewers to continue this emotional journey in the episodes to come.